Hey guys, my name's Mary Lily.
I'm Marshall.
And I'm Caitlin.
And we're the hosts of Unveiled Opinions.
Three newlywed girlies with a podcast on any and everything wedding related.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
How's it going?
It's good. Just chucking along. Is that what it's called? Chunk? I don't know. Trucking along.
Trucking along?
Sorry, pregnancy break.
You're kind of like on, not officially baby watch, but you're close.
Close, yeah. I feel like the people around me make it seem like it's going to happen like right now. And I'm like, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. Like, first babies are notorious for coming like either
Late.
on your due date or late.
Yeah.
So, but like my mom she's like, "Oh, I think it's gonna go early." Why do you think that?
Well, now, I mean, everybody goes early because everybody gets induced.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I think she just thinks I'm gonna just be out and about one day, like at the grocery store, and my water's gonna break, and it's gonna be it's gonna happen tomorrow or something. And I'm like, okay, well, don't put that out there.
Yeah, we don't need that.
We don't need that
We have a lot
stress in our
to do.
lives.
Like,
Yeah, I was like, if you could see my house right now.
I don't need to fear the grocery store any more than I do.
No, I don't need to fear leaving my house. I
Yeah.
already fear it, but that's because it's so hot.
Yeah, for other reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting.
It is exciting. How are you doing?
I'm good. I just feel like we've been traveling so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's summer. It's hot. We're going to Quebec. So, and the high is going to be 80. So I'm thrilled for that.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
When are you going there?
We're going this week.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's like technically for my mom's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be nice.
Yeah.
She threw it out there, and Kyle was like, I want to go to Quebec. And it was like, all right, we're going to Quebec. But it was kind of funny because I had my doctor today, and like everybody's been like, have you seen like people being like, if you're pregnant in your third trimester, like you have to have like a note to fly, otherwise they might refuse you.
Yeah, I have seen that, but I don't know if it's true.
I don't know if it's true either. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But I got a note today, and I didn't really realize that you can only fly up to 32, like on or before 32 weeks.
My doctor said 36.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah, I think it depends because like I went to, didn't fly, but I went to Savannah, so it was like a 4-hour car ride, and I did that at I think it was 33 or 34 weeks. And I had to ask because I was like, I actually don't know like when I'm not supposed to travel. And they told me that
36.
36. They told me 36 for flying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But then like, she's like, some people like are good with road trips and stuff. After 36, it's just like kind of based on how you feel.
Your preference.
Yeah. So I was
interesting.
Like, oh, okay.
And I don't know why he put 32, but I was like, oh my God, that's like really, like that's when I get back.
Yeah, like whoops. I think it just depends on your doctor because like my doctor, one of them, like my primary one, she's a lot stricter, like even with like my skincare and stuff like that, while other like doctors in the practice are like, no, you can use that. Yeah. So I'm like, I think it's a lot of it's
well, and I also wonder
if
it's
opinion.
Like leaving the country. I don't know.
Oh yeah, maybe. That's true. I didn't think about that.
Who knows? I don't know if Canada has good health care.
I don't know. I have cousins there, but I don't know anything about their health care.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that's like one random thing that I think I've heard about Canada.
No, well, because I feel like that is, I have like watched videos and they're like, if you're going to be traveling anywhere, like know what like the healthcare system's like, if you're pregnant. And I saw this girl say that for like New York, and I was like,
I think you're going to be fine.
Yeah, because like we went there for my baby moon, and I was like, I think it's okay.
Yeah, like I think like if I were to go to my parents in the mountains, like it'd be a little like
it'd be a little, where is the closest hospital?
We're probably not getting the best.
Yeah,
that's
the
like,
best. At this point, maybe just like head back to Charlotte.
Yeah, like just suck it up. Suck up the 2.5 hours. get back there. So yeah, all is good, but ready to like kind of be home, but also
Yeah.
not, because then it means it's like you're home. Like,
Yes, very
so
true.
all
It'll
the
be nice. A
things.
nice little trip where you don't have to sweat.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. Well, good. Well, today we're talking about something. Maybe both of us will learn something.
Hopefully I'll learn
and
something.
and hopefully y'all learn something too.
Mhm.
Learning to fight fair.
Such a good topic. Hopefully I do learn something. Gil would probably love if I learned something from this.
Yeah, conflict in marriage. Never heard of her.
No, what is that?
Have you noticed a difference in how each of you respond to conflict, like as your relationship has progressed?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I feel like when we first started dating, I was just like, conflict. I'm okay
Yeah,
personally with conflict. I like know, like, sometimes you have to face things that are not the greatest to talk about, but like I'm not afraid of it.
yeah,
Gil does not like conflict
yeah,
at all. So I feel like obviously the longer we've been together, the more comfortable we are, and like we've had some disagreements
yeah,
and come out on the other side. So I feel like we've definitely evolved for the better, I would say.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like like when you're just dating too, I and you're not like super serious yet, it's almost like you'll just say whatever. Or at least that's how I was. Like
Mhm.
I felt like there was no repercussions for like the things I said.
Yeah, it's like there's no accountability. What are you
Yeah,
gonna do
exactly.
about it?
I was like, I'll just go home. Like, what do you like? We didn't, like we didn't have
Yeah,
separate houses. Like,
yeah.
I don't
Now
have to
it's like
stay here with you.
we're
Now it's like, oh
married. I
God, like
literally have to fix this.
yeah, like we're in like 950 square feet. We have the same bed. Like, where am I
Yeah,
gonna
like
go?
yeah, like the amount of times I try to kick Kyle out if we're fighting, and he's like, "No, I'm not
No,
leaving." And I'm
he's
like,
like, I live here. Like, I'm not going on the
At least
couch.
to the guest room. I'm like, can you
No,
go? And he's like, no. I'm
no,
like,
no. Yeah, we don't. That doesn't work for Gil either.
yeah.
He's like, no, I'm gonna sleep in my bed.
I'm like, oh, so
I'm like,
annoying.
okay, well, I tried.
Yeah. But I do think, I mean, you just get to know people better.
Yeah, and
And I
it makes them
think,
tick
yeah, you
too.
know, it makes them
Yeah,
tick, so you know how to piss them off.
or how not to, depending on the
Yeah.
mood.
How you want to look at the situation.
Yes.
And then it's like, I don't know, I do think I've just like started to care. Like the things that I've cared about in our
Hmm.
relationship have changed a lot
Oh, 100%.
the more longer we've been together, which I
Hmm.
think is for the better too.
Yeah.
But Kyle's the same way as Gil, like conflict, hates it,
Hmm.
hates to talk about it. Let's avoid it.
Yeah. A very avoidant
Yeah.
style of, I don't want to say fighting, but kind of.
Yeah. But then I'm like the exact opposite. And I'm
Same.
like, I want to talk about everything.
Yeah. I'm like, no, we're getting this out on the table. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna squash it today.
Exactly. It's like, let's
Yeah.
just get it over with. There's no
Hmm.
reason to drag this out.
No. Yeah, I don't do grudges. I don't do passive aggressiveness. But those are unfortunately Gil what he
Gil's in Gil's style.
yeah, that's in his little umbrella, his little
His
style umbrella.
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle, his style has evolved over
Yeah.
time, thankfully, too.
Hmm.
And I think he's gotten better of like being like, no, 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 like it makes sense just to talk about it.
Yeah.
Have you all developed any like rules or like boundaries around arguments?
Yeah, actually, like I would say one that I guess I implemented it. But it was like when I was in the first trimester, like of our pregnancy, because I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like when you're gonna have a family, it's almost like there has to be boundaries in certain ways. So like Gil, when he would get mad at me or we'd have a disagreement or whatever,
Yeah.
his like go-to would just be to avoid it.
Yeah.
And there would be like silent treatment, like,
Yeah.
that sort of like passive aggressive. And then just like he would get over it and like start acting like everything's normal. Well, that like didn't work for me.
Sure.
So
I
was
can't
like,
bounce back like
I
that.
can't bounce back, and it just like pisses me off even more.
Yeah.
So I did have to like sit down with him and be like, look, like we cannot have a kid and then you get mad at me and stop talking to me and she sees that. So like I was like, we're gonna have to figure something out. I will give you your space. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like,
For like
chase you around and
force you to talk about it this second,
this
but
second.
it
Like you
needs to be
can,
talked
it needs
about.
to be talked about. It needs to be addressed. We can't just bury things under the rug and just like
Yeah.
think everything's gonna be
It'll
better
get better.
because it never does. So that was like one that it was, within the past 9 months
Yeah.
that we talked about that, and it's gotten so much better.
Yeah.
I feel like before, if I'd been like, I think the whole like us having a kid really is, kind of
Yeah.
like
You can't avoid stuff
yeah, you
anymore.
can't. And so it's like you also it's like what do you want your child seeing from
Yeah.
their parents too? Like when they argue, or hopefully like I don't would like to not do it in front of her, but like
Sure.
nobody's perfect and I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say never on that because I feel like every time I
Yeah.
say I'm
You're
never
not gonna
gonna do
like
something, it's like
pick a fight in front of her, but
yeah,
like,
right. But
it might
so
happen.
it might happen. So yeah, so that was like I feel like a big step in the right direction for
Yeah.
us. But I was very I don't want to say stern, but I feel like I was like very much like this is not going to be how it I think I said I was like we're not doing this the rest of my life. Like we're not.
Yeah.
It kind of had to like we had to have that discussion. It's not a fun one by any
No.
means.
No, none
But
of
that
this
was
is.
something that was really important to me. And I've obviously like recognized things that I do that like is not
Yeah.
great. So I've like tried like, not be as sarcastic and like
Yes.
no name calling and like stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like don't like blow like I try not to blow up when stuff annoys me. Still working on that.
Yeah. It's a work in
But still
progress.
work in progress. But yeah, I would
Yeah.
say that's like the biggest thing that we've like come to like an agreement on as far as like if we get into a disagreement, like I'm not going to chase you down in that second, make you talk
Yeah.
about it, but like we have to talk about it eventually and resolve it. So,
I would say that's similar. And I've learned, I guess it probably is like a rule. Um,
I know it's like you don't want to use that term, but like
yeah,
it is what it
it's like
is.
something I'm working on. I
Yeah.
have to be mindful of my attitude when we're fighting
Yeah, that's big for
because
me.
I can just be like very direct.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not a huge fan of that. Um,
Yeah, I
and
mean, I guess if you like avoid conflict or you would prefer to avoid conflict, arguing with someone that's direct is like your worst.
and like overly confident. He's
Yeah.
like, literally, I can't even argue with you. And then two, I have always been like, yeah, let's just address it head on.
Mm-hmm.
And he also like needs time to process it. And so it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like we don't have to do it this second. But
But it has
then,
to get done.
yeah, like it has
Yeah.
to get done. But the one caveat to that is
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine to go to bed mad.
Same. We don't have that rule, which I
Yeah.
know it is a big thing and it probably works for a lot of couples, but I feel like me and him both have to have like a cooling off period. And I think that's
Hmm.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
I think that like going to bed upset, at least for us, it's not like I wake up the next day and I'm like still triggered usually. I
Sure.
feel like if anything, I've had a chance to calm down and
Yeah.
not say something I will regret. So it's like, yeah, I'll go to bed mad. It's fine. But I'm probably just gonna like sleep on the couch. That's another one. Like, I don't mind sleeping on the couch and like having some alone time. I feel like we're both kind of big into alone time when we need it. So that doesn't like hurt our
Anyone's
relationship.
feelings or anything
Yeah.
like that.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Kyle definitely came into the relationship being like, no, like we can't go to bed mad. But I
Hmm.
do feel like a lot of those fights that kind of happen late night, we're like, we've both been drinking. And it's like,
Yes. Hmm.
and I'm like, okay, we're just talking in circles. I'm not going to keep talking in circles. Like,
Yeah.
let's revisit this when we both have cooled off a little bit
Yes.
and
And
like
like
emotions have settled.
clear head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know. I feel like those late night ones, sometimes it's like you're talking in circles, or then it's like you get annoyed and then you get annoyed about something else and it just like snowballs. And it's like,
Yeah,
what
for
were we even
sure.
fighting about?
Yeah, it's like, how did this even
How did
start?
this happen? Yeah. So, no, I totally get that.
So that's where like going to bed. mad works. But yeah, I mean, I get it for some people, but I think too, just some of the like smaller petty fights. It's like,
Yeah.
just let's sleep that one off.
I know, because it's like if you have like the cooling off period, I feel like I was saying, is important because, if you don't go to bed, like if you go to bed or you want to resolve before you go to bed, then it's like one of you is rushing the other person. At least
Yeah.
in my like our relationships, that's what it sounds like. Like, then it's like, is he gonna wake up and resent the fact that I made him address it last night when he wasn't ready? And
Yeah.
is it really
And
even
then
resolved?
is it resolved, or is there still like unspoken,
Yeah.
unresolved issues and conflict?
Right. Or
Which
was
is
it
like
just like,
all for
yeah,
nothing.
I know. Like, was it just like, okay, fine, like I'm sorry and that's what I'm gonna say to get you to like let me go to sleep.
Yeah, seriously, just to make this end.
Yeah. Which is not what you want.
No, no. So I do think, we obviously don't have anybody pro. Don't go to bed angry at each other
I
here.
know.
But
Yeah. I know it works for a lot of couples though.
yeah, I'm, maybe we'll ask him. Maybe we'll have somebody who believes it
Yeah.
on the podcast sometime.
Yeah, let us know.
But the other way around really works too.
Yeah, it works well for us.
What would you say is something that you've learned not to do in a fight?
Don't smart off. I feel like I always like have some like, or I used to always have like some smart ass comment that
Yeah.
was not necessary. And like obviously it still happens. I'm not perfect. I think like
Yeah.
today I smarted off and like I really shouldn't have.
It's like, oops, someone slid. I'm sorry.
Like
That was on me.
sorry. Like, yeah.
It's like
I'm
an immediate,
tired.
like, ooh, my bad.
I know. It's like it is an immediate like shit. I'm sorry. Like whatever. That and like don't hit like below the belt. Like
Yes.
try and keep it on topic, like
Yeah, don't make it personal.
don't make it personal, like especially if like the fight's not really personal, you know what I'm saying? Like it might just be something like really like, whatever. So like I guess an example would be like the other day, you like come home from work, he'd been at work for a while and I just like wanted to hang out with him and he was like on his phone and I was like, why are you on your phone? And he was like, I'm looking on Instagram. Like I haven't, and he's like, I haven't been home all day to scroll on Instagram like you have. And I was like, oh, so of course I was like, yeah, that was snarky. But of course I made it worse.
Yeah.
And
you're like, I can one up you.
Like I like literally don't remember what I said because I feel like sometimes when I get like super snarky, I black out almost, which is not good. But I know I said something mean. And then he just like went to bed. And then I should have just been like, sorry. Like I just wanted to like hang out. Like I haven't seen you all day.
It came from a good place.
Yeah, it came from a place of caring.
Yeah.
But then it was like, no, I'm going to be a bitch now, which was not necessary. Like I could have literally just, yes.
It was a slow day at the office.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. I'm like, oh, you think you're going to say something snarky to me? Like, watch out.
Yeah.
So I have to work on that.
Yeah.
A lot.
I'm with you. And I feel like it's like it doesn't add to the situation.
No.
And that's like one thing that like I don't know if I'm learning, but I like remind myself is like that's not making this any better.
Nothing good's gonna come from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard though. I mean, like, when emotions are high or like something catches you off guard, like if I could just take a deep breath, never been that person, but I need to try to be more of that person. Maybe I'll meditate or something.
Yeah. Sometimes if I'm like super pissed, I'll like literally like leave the house and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Which I think surprised him early on and probably pissed him off.
Like you disappear.
I like leave my phone at home. Like I'm I'm just going for a walk. Like I need to like get out.
Yeah, I used to do that too. I used to or I would just turn my phone off like altogether and just like I would leave it off for hours and sometimes I'll fall asleep and like that's not good. People think you're dead. But
for sure.
Yeah, it's hard like dealing with another person's emotions and like their feelings and how they argue. And just trying not to make it worse.
Yeah.
But I also have that like personality where I unfortunately like to be correct at all
Yeah.
times and let everyone know
Obviously.
that I'm correct at all times. So, that has really never got me anywhere good. I don't know why I'm like that, but I am.
My downfall is like I don't even necessarily need to be correct. I just act correct, and that
Yeah.
drives him insane.
Well, sometimes I feel like I have to double down.
Yeah.
Like, I'll realize halfway through the argument that, like, I actually was not right.
Misspoke. Yeah.
Yeah, completely misspoke. And then I'm like, well, I've already gone this far, though.
I'm committed.
I'm committed to the bit.
Seeing this till the end.
Which I don't recommend. It never ends well.
Or does
But
it?
I've done it.
Until they just don't even know that you're wrong unless it's something they can Google.
Yeah, it's exactly. Unless they can Google it, like you could. I feel like I just always am like, I can convince him.
Yeah,
that,
unless there are receipts, which sometimes there are.
which a lot of times there are. Or
That happened to me recently. I don't even remember what it was. And he was like, literally,
like, you are not right at all.
which I think is something that I've learned also to do is just to get ahead of it sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When I've
agree.
picked a fight, like the situation with my sister-in-law, like she is also pregnant and you know, we like all kind of jumped to one conclusion and something that happened with her pregnancy. They thought she was going into labor. And Kyle was like, that might not be possible at all. And I was like, Kyle, obviously, this is what they're saying. Like, why would you say that's not it? Like, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
And then I obviously had to call him and I was like, hey, you were right.
You were right.
You didn't go into labor. And so it's like, just like get ahead of it. When you're wrong.
Yeah.
Take a lot of ownership.
Especially like if I feel like when you're really wrong too, like really wrong. Just
and
like,
it's like, why did I choose to die on this hill?
Exactly. It's never worth it.
Yeah.
It's never, I mean, maybe like 1% of the time it's worth it.
Yeah.
Is that really like the odds you want to work with?
Yeah. So, well, and I don't know why this just made me think of it, but like the human, if there isn't enough like stimulation in your brain looks for conflict. Like it actually needs conflict.
Oh, Jesus.
And so if you're fighting a lot with your partner, like maybe
I don't know, do a crossword.
Yeah. Do something, get a hobby, maybe.
You get a hobby. Fighting should not be your hobby. Making up fake scenarios when you're in the shower in your head should not be a hobby. I've done it though.
Yeah, I know. I mean, especially like Mary Lily and I were chatting the other day, and it's like, God, the crazy ass shit in the fights we started in our young 20s.
It's always in the 20s as well. I just, like for no reason other than like I've been bored. Like I've been bored before, and it's like, you know, it'd be fun
what?
if I brought this topic up.
Yeah.
And it's not just with partners. I've done that with family before.
Oh yeah. It's like, you know what? Let's add some conflict here.
Like let's see what people really feel. Like I really want to know people's opinions. No, it's never good.
No, it's not. Is there anything that surprised you in like how Gail handles conflict?
I guess I just like never pegged him as someone who would not want to talk about it. Not that he's like super chatty or anything, but just like he's just very like type A in a lot of ways that like I just assumed he would want everything to be resolved, you know, like he wouldn't want any loose ends or like anything like that. So when I realized that like he
was like the opposite.
Total opposite, like more like passive aggressive and can hold a grudge forever.
Pretty well. Yeah. Expert level.
That took me by surprise. But then like I feel like obviously the more we were around each other, got to know each other, and he told me that both his parents are passive aggressive.
Yeah.
So that's like what he grew up with. So like, but then I grew up, my mom, actually, I talked to her the other day about this. We were talking about my brother, how he's both passive aggressive and aggressive. And
just in combo, you don't know what you're going to get.
So you don't know what you're going to get. And it can be really
roll the dice.
You never know. And then in my head, I'm thinking, about my mom, I'm like, you're this way too. And then 5 seconds later, she goes, I'm kind of like that too. And I was like, I absolutely love that you know that about yourself.
Yeah. That's some great self-awareness on you.
If I had said that, I feel like she would have gotten mad at me.
Yeah, you're like, I would have gotten the aggressive side of the
Yes.
spectrum.
And then me and my dad we're just like totally the same in the way that we handled stuff, which, not saying we were perfect. We would explode in a heartbeat over something.
Oh, for sure,
I do like about like not being passive aggressive is how quickly you can get something resolved.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like my bounce back time, once like we like talked about it and everything, like I'm good. Like, I might be like,
once
I'm good
we've addressed it,
yeah,
we can move on.
Exactly. So I just feel like the passive aggressive is very tiresome for me as a person to deal with. So yeah, that's been, but then I think I'm very like, I probably stress him out so much wanting to talk about everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like just having to like come to a happy medium as best as we can there is for the best, but is a work in progress. But yeah.
It's a compromise.
Yeah. Finding out that he was like, did not want any sort of conflict at all really like threw me for a loop. Like, did not expect it.
That was how Kyle was. It threw me for a loop and it pissed me off.
Yeah, it pissed me off.
As somebody who loves conflict, I was like, what do you mean? We can't just fight for fun.
Or it's like, what do you mean I can't like follow you and be like, no, we're talking about this now? Like,
yeah.
You think you're going to escape this? You think you're going to escape me?
Even like, I don't know, my family loves to like debate topics too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, we'll pick a different side. You know what I mean? Not like debate, but like, it's like, yeah, like let's have a discussion on this and not agree. And that's okay. And that's like not him. Yeah. And he being around my family, he'll be like, oh my God.
I know. I think my family like sometimes would really, I don't know if stress maybe, but like just tire him out because we will get into like, I don't want to say arguments, but like we'll just get into like these petty little like disagreements and they kind of come out of nowhere. And then 5 seconds later, we're fine.
We're moved on.
We've moved on and it's totally fine. And that's like just how my family is. Yeah. And his family's not like that. And I think that stresses him out when he's around it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, the more time that they're around, the less it impacts them. But early on,
I think he can like tune it out now.
A surprise for him.
Yeah, I know. I feel like now he's like, whatever, like he knows that me and my mom will go round and round and like, but we'll be like totally fine 5 seconds later. But like, if you're not used to that, it's you like, don't know that. Like you're like, happening? So we're like, are y'all like not good now?
Yeah, like are you not talking for the rest of
your life? Oh no, like we're fine.
We're getting lunch after this.
Yeah, like I know, like with my mom, like we'll get into a fight or something, and then she'll text me later and be like, "Are you still mad at me?" I'm like, "No,
no, I moved on.
We're good.
I'm good if you're good."
Yeah. But yeah, it's just different, I guess. Fighting styles, personality styles,
communication styles,
all of the above. Yeah.
But I do think knowing how their family handled conflict can help you get a good insight into how they will handle conflict.
Yes.
But obviously that's like a tricky question to like ask and not be like, where the hell are you? What's your agenda here?
Yes. And I think a big thing too is how their family feels about therapy, because my family loves it. Yeah. Or like my mom's like, I think everyone could like benefit from it. Like my dad always had a therapist. Like I, went and stuff like that. And when my parents got divorced, they made sure that like me and my brother
were in therapy.
Talked to, just to make sure all was well. His family's not like that. They like don't love it or go. Or
which I think is a little bit of like a generational thing.
It is. It 100%. I think it's like
now therapy has become so mainstream.
So mainstream, but I feel like even with my parents being like totally cool with it and stuff, like it's not the norm for most people their age.
Not at all.
Not at all. Like, especially back then too, like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, like that was like not.
Don't talk about your feelings. They don't exist.
You don't talk about your feelings. And if you do go to therapy, don't tell anyone.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Like keep it like a secret. And like now it's like everyone has a therapist, but
yeah, if you don't, you're weird.
Right. It's like you should probably get on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like just how, like you were saying, like how the family, how they handle things and like how they feel about talking about feelings too. Because we let everything out in my household. So
that's how my family is. And Kyle's parents, they are a little older. And so I do think that like for them, it definitely is like, it's just not a thing.
No, it just because it wasn't like, I feel like it was so normal to not want to talk about your feelings or, you know, how to resolve things. It's just, like you're saying, over the years, it's evolved.
We went to like premarital counseling, but it was a therapist.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? And I was like, I've been in therapy for literally more than half my life.
I know. I've been in it, like in and out of it since I was like, whenever my parents separated, I guess I was like 8.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big fan.
You know, I really like have enjoyed it. I've had some therapists I like more than others.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's helped me to like deal with other people.
Yeah. Understand others.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, do you wish, or what's one thing that you think like newlyweds or married couples knew about arguing and trying to like do so in a quote unquote healthy way?
Mm-hmm. I think you need to know what your style is before you can really like assess your partner's style.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like step 1. And then if you know something like about yourself, like I know that I had a tendency, maybe still do, to hit below the belt. That's never going to work out for the better, you know? So just like, knowing like, you know, I know like emotions like run high and stuff like that. But it is always nice if you can, you know, take a step back, like don't say the first thing that comes to your mind and try to stay on topic. Like don't bring in other stuff. Don't bring in like, I've also always like heard and agreed, like don't bring in their family. Like don't bring in stuff like that. Like that's never gonna get you anywhere. So just like
it makes it very divisive.
Very divisive and like very personal when it might have not even been personal to begin with. Yeah. So just like don't hit below the belt if you can. Yeah. Like it's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to make the fight 20,000 times worse. And then it's like you have the first thing that you were fighting about and now you have to address. Exactly. You've done so much damage at this point. Yeah. So that's just try to keep it on topic as much and like try to be calm. Like, I don't really yell when I fight. Yeah. Gil said before, like you're yelling, and then sometimes I want to like actually yell and be like, "This is yelling."
You haven't seen yelling.
But just know that like everyone's different how they handle things. Like you know, even if you do have the same fighting style, it's not
doesn't mean that it's going to work well,
and it doesn't mean you're going to resolve anything faster either. So just like take all that into account. But I feel like it also just takes time. Getting to know someone, the more comfortable you are with them, what makes them tick, what makes you tick. Like, you know, it's a work in progress.
For sure, a work in progress. And I do think, like, don't try to just, like, label and diagnose somebody else's style. Like, really try to understand your style first. And kind of take ownership of your quirks. Yes. Rather than trying to fix somebody else or be like, you do this, you do that.
Right.
And
don't diagnose them.
Yeah. You're probably, unless you are a therapist, you're not a therapist.
So don't try to be one.
Get off TikTok. And don't diagnose your partner.
Don't do that. Won't end well.
So, well, cool. Well, that's a wrap for today.
Yay.
Subscribe.
Rate, review like us. We are on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, those are like our 2 main ones. So
until next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.